Welcome back. On behalf of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli heads Egypt's delegation to the 24th Summit of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, the COMESA, that is set to convene in Nairobi on October the 9th. And more than one important file, Egypt's participation, Egypt with its heavyweight participating in the COMESA meetings under the directives of the President. That is our file for discussion tonight. Let's follow this report and we'll be back.
Minister Mustafa Madbouli heads Egypt's delegation to the 24th Summit of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, the COMESA, set to convene in Nairobi, Kenya on the 9th of October on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This year's summit unfolds amid Egypt's ongoing strategic focus on enhancing continental trade integration and boosting inter-African investment flows. The meeting will bring together heads of state and government from COMESA's 21 member countries, along with key regional and international partners. President al-Sisi's directives are clear. Egypt aims to support the economic rise of its African partners through policy and investment, using its leadership in regional bodies as both anchor and springboard. The Nairobi summit offers Egypt the opportunity to drive forward agendas of economic integration, shared prosperity, and to lead in reshaping Africa's place in global trade. Its vision links with broader continental initiatives like the Tripartite Free Trade Area and the African Continental Free Trade Area, underlining its role as both bridge and engine of regional growth. Egypt's engagement with COMESA is not just symbolic. It has deep economic roots. Since joining in 1998 till this year's summit, Egypt has actively contributed in trade, investment, tariff cooperation, capacity building, and technical support for member nations. Under the COMESA framework, Egyptian exporters have penetrated markets across Kenya, Libya, and Tunisia, among others. These export relationships have been bolstered by tariff exemptions for Egyptian origin goods under the free trade provisions of the COMESA Treaty. Egypt is also stepping up shared industrial ventures, including agriculture, food processing, energy infrastructure, to deepen regional value chains and to move beyond raw export dependency. Egypt's cabinet stated that Cairo's participation reflects its commitment to deepening regional economic integration. Egypt leads at COMESA, where its success depends not only on signing agreements, but on implementing, ensuring that investment incentives are applied, infrastructure issues are addressed, and that benefits reach local communities across Africa. And with these moves, Egypt remains a central pillar in Africa's economic future.
We're back and discussing more about Egypt's participation in the COMESA meetings. We're honored to be joined by Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, Professor of Economics. Thank you so much, Dr. Roshdy, for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Tagreed, and for the debate team for this kind of invitation.
Thank you. Well, starting off with the timing, and it's very significant that Egypt, with its heavyweight and leverage, participates in the COMESA meetings. It's actually strengthening Africa's collective work towards the main objectives of the COMESA member states.
Actually, when you are talking about COMESA, actually it comes to top of my mind that Egypt is returning back to play its historical role on all fields, the political part and the economic part, and mainly I would focus on the economic part actually, and this is one of the most crucial things, as you know, and our audience, that this is the most vital thing to the globe, the economic part, and to returning back our historical role on this part, especially, as you know, and our audience, the African continent, they are calling it nowadays the youth continent, actually, because the majority of the people, the pyramid of age, like 60 to 70% of the total population are youth. Despite the fact, if you compare it to the European continent, actually, you can find the pyramid is inverted, that the majority, 60 to 70%, are older people, and this is, in my humble opinion, that the African continent actually is a great and potential market for everything. And returning back to play or to exchange commodities and enhancing the GDP structure for our country, and Egypt is contributing on this in a significant way. And to simplify things to our audience, as you know, and our audience, our GDP structure consists of three main parts. The first part, which is the agricultural part, and the second part, which is the industrial part, and the third one, which is the service part. The most added value part, which has the highest added value, the service part. The service part that include nowadays the technology part, and as you know, and our audience, we are going to the digital transformation, the global digital transformation. Accordingly, focusing on this part, and Egypt has a great and strategic vision under the supervision of or the vision of the presidential leadership to focus on this part, which has the highest added value. In addition to go in parallel to the industrial part to fulfill our needs and our neighbors' needs, to enhance our balance of payment and decrease our imports, actually, and enhancing our exports. Especially President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has an ambitious plan concerning increasing our exports to reach, as far as I recall, $100 billion, and the majority of it is non-petroleum, actually. This is a great ambitious plan, and to achieve this, it's quite crucial and difficult. But to be honest with you, when achieving a great strategy, I recalled one of the famous quotes for one of the famous strategic planning scientists, which is called Henry Mintzberg. It is easy to plan, but it is difficult to implement. The challenge is in implementation, actually. And in my humble opinion, we are doing a great job in terms of implementation. The first one, returning back to play our historical role on the political part on our country, on our continent, in addition to playing the economic part, and to return back to the GDP structure, the last part of the GDP structure was the agricultural part. Also, we are focusing on it because if we couldn't own our food, we couldn't own our decision in a proper way, actually. For that reason, the integration between the industrial and service part and the agricultural part between our continent, our neighbors, will be a great added value, and we have a strategic direction to integrate between our neighbors to achieve the most important things, that to strengthen our position and the continent position in a different way, and to have a global contribution on the global, positive contribution on the global GDP structure in a proper way, in addition to enhancing the most important thing, which is the trade balance, in a great way.
Yes, definitely. We have many objectives for the COMESA, and Egypt, with its leverage, is participating at the 24th COMESA summit in order to transform this regional trade frameworks into action on solid grounds. And October is actually the month of victories. We have more than one good news during the month of October, the month of victories. And His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has congratulated the Egyptian football team for ascending to the World Cup in 2026 that is going to be in the States. And this is actually another hit for Egypt, and this is considered to be a culmination of great efforts in more than one front. We find Egypt's soft power is already definitely proving itself and regained on the diplomacy level, the winning of Khaled Al-Anani, and the month of victories continues with good news. So how about this good news in the field of sports this time, as His Excellency has congratulated the Egyptian football team for ascending to the World Cup in 2026?
First of all, I would like to congratulate you and the Egyptian citizen for this great victory, actually. In addition to Dr. Khaled Al-Anani, actually, for presenting Egypt in a great way, for managing the UNESCO part, actually. This is, let me say it in another way, we are bearing the fruits of the strategic vision of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the integration between all sectors in our country.
Yeah. And in harmony.
Yes, in a great harmony. And I would like to quote you in terms of the soft power.
Yes.
We are doing a great things in the soft power by this victory, influencing the globe, that this is a great message that Egypt is being the fruits of the political stability, the economic stability. In addition to, we are influencing the globe with what we are doing, and I hope that we doing a great thing in the next World Cup. Actually, in addition to, I'm quite sure that Dr. Khaled Al-Anani will be a great person to present Egypt
definitely
in
a great
new
ambassador.
challenge.
Yes, ambassador, but serving humanity at large this time. Very proud of an Egyptian serving humanity and cultural and heritage preservation, and also giving a great message that professional work matters and is always being paid tribute to. And this is, of course, in Dr. Al-Anani's case. So congratulations, and October victories, and the month of October brings good news. This is good news in itself. Dr. Roshdy, back to the COMESA summit, and it also because we need this sense of integration among Africans. We need to achieve the Africa that we all aspire. How are we working on this sense of integration, opening new markets? And you've mentioned a very important dimension, which is the digital transformation that is changing the face of life, not only in Egypt, but in the whole world. And economy is definitely part and parcel of the story.
In my humble opinion, that each country in Africa has its own competitive edge. It's like a fingerprint, I can say it. It's like a fingerprint. Each one has a different fingerprint, which is, in my humble opinion, it's a message from the God that each one has a competitive edge in terms of countries, people. And to return back to our point in terms of countries in Africa, each country has its own competitive edge, and by capitalizing on this competitive edge through the integration, for example, Egypt has a great qualified manpower, and this is, in my humble opinion, our main assets. And
yes,
as you
the
know,
human capital is very important, and we are investing in the human capital.
Thank you. And I believe that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has a strategic vision on investing on our assets.
Yes.
And he actually focusing on two main things that, in my humble opinion, that if you would like to build a great country, you have to focus on the health part and the education part. And this is what we are calling it. This is the investment on the manpower. And honestly, nowadays we are bearing the fruits of that. In another way, we can say the ROI, return on investment. As you can see that Egypt is qualified, that you actually said a lot of good news actually, in terms of those good news which we are capitalizing or being the fruits of this investment, focusing on this actually. To turn back to the synergy between the African countries, you can see that we have the age of the manpower. Other countries has raw materials. Other countries has the technology part and the manpower, the financial resources. If we are integrated together, actually we will have what we are calling it a competitive product to export to the European, American continent, actually all the world, and our contribution on the world trade balance will be enhanced in a great way because we have all the qualification. The challenge, which is, in my humble opinion, that the synergy. And to returning back to our country, actually we are doing an amazing job to facilitate first thing the investment and bringing FDI.
Yes, and facilities, providing the facilities of the investment climate that would provide investors also with incentives. This is happening.
For sure, and investment, and I would like to quote you in terms of investment, we are doing it in an amazing way. First of all, GAFI, General Authority for Investment, actually is doing a great job in terms of creating the one-stop shop actually that facilitate things for the investors in terms of you can finalize everything
at one stop,
at one place actually, or one stop. In addition to the Prime Minister has actually announced about the golden license that you can establish your company in one day, in no time actually.
And the encouraging of SMEs to
capitalizing on the digital transformation and the technology part, in addition to putting one of the most smart things that if you would like to benefit from the tax incentive, 60 to 70% from the components or the ingredients of your industry actually should be Egyptian. And this is positively push the economic wheel cycle. As you know, any country, if you would like to build a country, you have to focus on SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and this is positively impact the economic wheel cycle. And nowadays we can see in terms just small figures actually the reflection of this on the unemployment rate. As far as I recall, the unemployment rate in 2013 reached to 13.5. Nowadays it's between, as far as I recall, 6.5 to 7%. For that reason, you can see the integration between all sectors to the unemployment rate. And nowadays, as far as I recall, last week, one of the most significant messages that MPC Monetary Policy Committee decreased the interest rate. And this is not, this is, as far as I recall, year to date, this is the decrease reached to 6.5%, 6.25%, 6.5% as far as I recall year to date. And this is positive signal, positive message to the globe that we are working on the right track. And this is it hit a nerve concerning the working on the global inflation wave that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was highlighted it, and we do it in a professional way, and this is positively reflected on our coast, of that actually in a proper way. You can see this is synergy, and this is will enhance our contribution on the global or African trade balance in a great way, concerning based on the synergy between all sectors. In addition to the last thing that I would like to highlight for our audience, that one of the most important reports that any investor would like, he should see it actually, before coming to invest his money in any country, the competitiveness report and the synergy between all sectors reflected on this report, in addition to the infrastructure and our ambitious plan and facilitating everything, the regulations, everything.
Yes.
We can see Egypt has jumped a lot of ranks, and this is quite clear that we are bearing the fruits of the economic reform and in addition to actually the political stability.
Yes, definitely. On more than one front, there are victories. The COMESA member states are going to be definitely discussing more about economic integration. How are they working and serving deeper that main target, which is economic integration, bearing into consideration also utilizing Egypt's experience in infrastructure development, for instance, and also in energy, and more than one important file that Egypt actually pioneered in?
Actually, the energy part, I believe that we are focusing on one of the most important things, the renewable energy. You can see nowadays there's a global trend to decrease our carbon footprint in a great way, and we are working at, as you know, and our audience, the normal sources of energy. We have to know that one day it will run out, actually. And nowadays the strategic vision of our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to focus on the renewable energy and decrease our carbon footprint. Nowadays, Egypt is focusing on it. In addition to one of the global positive messages, as far as I recall, we hosted COP27.
Serving, of course, environmental objectives.
Serving environmental objective in a proper way, and this is experience, or this experience, I believe, or this experiment actually that happened in Egypt, that most of African countries would like to generalize or to apply our pacts on this part, capitalizing on it, in addition to find way of integration to have a competitive product, African competitive product, and enhance the African contribution on the global trade balance or the global GDP structure.
Yes, more than one front, the Africans are actually working, also engaging the private sector is considered to be a great asset if we are talking about the bloc's economic agenda. How are we engaging the private sector in member states, Dr. Roshdy?
In my humble opinion, engaging private sector is quite crucial to have a stronger economy, especially the private sector managing things in a different way, actually concerning achieving profitability and managing the ROI in a professional way. And the governments on the African countries are working to facilitate things in terms of the regulations, tax incentive, in addition to the infrastructure, in addition to have the qualified manpower. And to be honest with you and our audience, the African countries' integration is a great thing to achieve our strategic goal. And Egypt, actually, to return back to our country, we are not inventing the wheel, we are getting the best practice to do it in a great way. And the challenge on implementing this practice, and we are calling it, what we are calling it, the adaptation, because we have a lot of what we are calling it edges, actually competitive edges in terms of manpower. We have to train the manpower and focusing on education and health, in addition to facilitating things to investors to bring FDI, in addition to focusing on the education and health part, the infrastructure, focusing on the new era, which is the technology part. As you know, and our audience, the coming years will be counting on the digital transformation.
Yes.
And you can see the new generation, actually they are technology savvy. You can do everything. They are doing everything nowadays through their mobiles, through the technology.
We'll see the robotics then also.
Yes.
Robots and the economy. Robots, robots everywhere. I mean, the contribution of digital transformation is going to change the face of life in Africa as well. Well, definitely lots of linkage and linkages. Member states are expected also to be adopting measures in order to improve the coordination among them. How do you see Egypt benefiting from this heavyweight meeting? What sort of objectives that are quite tangible for us at the COMESA meetings this round?
For sure, Egypt is adding a great value for the committee, and its contribution will be quite or crystal clear that will have positive impact on our continent, actually, in a great way. To benefit from this, in my humble opinion, one of the most important terms come to top of my mind, which is the integration.
Yes.
The integration, as I told you and our audience, and starting on of our episode, actually, each country has its own competitive edge. One has the raw materials, actually. Other had the manpower, the infrastructure, the financing.
So we need all this orchestra together.
If we integrate it together, we will have African competitive product with a great added value. And as I mentioned previously, the global or the GDP structure consists of three main parts: the agriculture, the industrial, and the service part. And the service part, which is one of the most crucial things to transform the raw materials and working on the technology part, the added value for any product will have a positive contribution. You can return, if we turn it back 30, 40 years ago, we have oil, and we, as an African continent, we export it as a raw. If we focus to added something and to change it to be whatever from source of energies, it will has a great impact. And you can see for 30 to 40 years ago what was happening. We import this oil to European countries, and they are returning back to us nowadays by the power of knowledge, the power of integration. We're doing a great added value on all products and import to them as the end or final product. And this will be our competitive edge, to have a competitive product with proper price and great quality, counting on the integration, counting on the qualified manpower and the technology.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, Professor of Economics, for always adding value, talking about Africa's integration and Egypt with its leverage and heavyweight participating in such important meetings. We're really also happy that we've shared good news today, as His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had congratulated the Egyptian football team for reaching the World Cup actually in 2026. That is good news. Hopefully the rest of October will bring more good news and victories for Egypt. Thank you so much, Dr. Roshdy.
Thank you. You are always adding a lot of to enrich the episode in a great way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. I'm Taghreed Hussein. Many thanks for watching.